Rogue One, A Star Wars Story is the first in the spin-off anthology series and is directed by Gareth Edwards. The film stars Felicity Jones, Diego Luna, Alan Tudyk, Riz Ahmed, Donnie Yen, Forrest Whitaker, Ben Mendelsohn, and a host of other really great actors. As many of you know from the trailers and so on, the film follows the story of a group of rebels who steal the plans to the Death Star in the lead-up directly to A New Hope. This is literally the film version of the opening crawl from A New Hope. Obviously there was a great deal of anticipation before The Force Awakens was released, but on many levels and almost universally, that film delivered. I think there was far less trepidation for this movie because we knew that Star Wars was still current and we knew that Star Wars movies would still be good. For me, I was still skeptical. I was cautiously optimistic, but of course skeptical, because this is still a prequel. And although I don't hate the prequel trilogy, obviously there's a lot wrong with the prequel trilogy. Thankfully, in many ways, Rogue One delivers, but I'm going to talk about my negatives first and then go into the positives. My negatives really surround the script and the characters. So the script, especially in the second act, meanders a lot and it really moves to a snail's pace, and I don't think it's boring, but a lot of people I can see will switch off. And it might make or break the movie for you because that second act is so kind of inconsistent. I also feel like we don't get to know the characters as much as we should. And for that reason, the stuff that happens in the third act, we don't really care so much about. Other than those minor niggles though, I loved Rogue One. As many have said, Gareth Edwards has a great understanding of scale. And everything in this movie feels massive and we see it from a different perspective. We see all these ships and these machines from the ground level, and seeing it from that perspective and seeing just how terrifying this world is, and it really puts the war aspect into Star Wars. And that's obviously what they've been planning and what they'd promised us for the past couple of years, obviously since this was announced, is a war movie in the Star Wars universe, and we absolutely got that. I think the cinematography as well is fantastic. It's very handheld, in the vein of other war movies, but you can always tell what's going on, and it is genuinely stunning. I think the visual effects, all the CGI and the practical effects and the way they're blended together are fucking amazing. I think it's probably even better than The Force Awakens. There are, of course, a couple of CGI characters who, again, I won't talk about because it's spoiler territory, but they're very inconsistent. Like, there's some shots that are truly amazing. They will trick anyone. But then there's other shots that are just... It's not bad, but you can tell it's CGI. But speaking of CGI characters, Alan Tudyk as K2SO is fantastic. He brings a lot of humour to the film. He has some great lines. And genuinely, if you didn't know it was a CGI character, you can't tell. It's fucking brilliant. It's fantastic. I think everyone does a great job in terms of their characters. Donnie Yen, as expected, is badass, and Felicity Jones as Jyn Erso is suitably endearing, but she's also unlikable in a lot of ways. This goes for a lot of the characters. We really understand that this is a time of war, and the characters live in a world of grey. Sometimes the right thing to do is not always the best thing to do, and we can see that. Now, controversially, this film is not scored by John Williams, it's scored by Michael Giacchino, who came in really at the last second, and I think for that maybe I'm a little bit more forgiving, but I think the score is fantastic. Although the original cues are in this movie, they're used very sparingly. Speaking of being used sparingly, Darth Vader is in this movie, but this is not Darth Vader's movie. Now, especially towards the end of the film, he is incredible. The way they use him is fucking brilliant, but if you're going into this movie expecting to see a lot of Darth Vader, you will be disappointed. Please remember that Gareth Edwards directed Godzilla a couple of years back, so you understand the comparison. All in all, I think this is a fantastic action-adventure movie, and it slots into the Star Wars saga really well. It's very snugly connected to A New Hope, and it's in more ways than I was expecting it to be, but that's not a detriment to the film, and I think it's a wonderful addition to this world. I'm definitely excited to see the next movie in the anthology series, and of course, excited for episode 8 next year. For me, Rogue One, A Star Wars Story gets a B+. As always, if you enjoyed this video, please click thumbs up. If you have something to say, leave a comment down below, and if you want to see more, hit subscribe. Thanks for watching.